Hello everyone, this is Adrian Cobalt Andrich, and this is going to be my rather long playthrough of Pokémon Gold version for the Game Boy Color. Came out in the year 2000. I'm going to start a new game, don't worry. Came out in the year 2000 and is the sequel to the wildly popular Pokémon Red and Green and Blue and Yellow. Okay. This game uses an internal clock, so right now it's 4:17, and I checked this emulator that I'm using does use an internal clock. So I'm actually not going to read any of the text because there's so much of it. I'll read maybe some of it sometimes, but instead I'll just explain some stuff. So Pokemon, if you've never played before, is a role-playing game by Nintendo, and you capture these creatures named Pokemon, raise them and care for them, and very often you will battle using them, battle other Pokemon. The man we're talking to right now is Professor Oak. He is regarded as an authority in Pokemon research. He wants to know my name. I'm gonna put Adrian, because that's my name. You play a young boy in this game who is going to embark on his very own journey to become the greatest Pokemon trainer of all time. You start in your room, and right away we run into my mother, who is telling me Professor Elm is looking for me. She's giving me my Pokegear, which is basically a smart watch. It can use the phone, it can use a map. It's Monday today. It's daylight savings time. So, yeah, we can use the Pokegear for a variety of purposes. It's a neat addition. It wasn't there in the original Pokemon. So, our mother has told us we need to go over to Professor Elm's laboratory. We can talk to people around town. Yo, Adrian. Professor Elm discovers a new Pokemon. We live in New Barktown. Town are winds of a new beginning blow. New Barktown, neighbors, Cherry Grove City. This is the laboratory. There's some punk back here looking into the window. What are you staring at? He does not want us to be up in his business. And there's Professor Elm. So I got this game when it first came out, and I was 8 years old, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I'd played Red and Blue version, but I thought this one was so much better. Cyndaquil, the fire Pokemon. Normally I do pick Cyndaquil, but I think I want to challenge myself. I'm going to pick Chikorita, the grass Pokemon, which is an unpopular choice, I believe, but nicknamed him the Chikorita, who's a female. Let's see. What is your name gonna be? Let's call you Alex. So Professor Elm wants us to go meet a man named Mr. Pokemon, who is an acquaintance of his. He says he's made a groundbreaking discovery. Professor Elm's too busy to leave the lab, however. And his lab assistant wants to give us a potion. Potions will heal our Pokemon if they take too much damage. There are only two of us, so we're always busy. Yeah, no kidding. So you could go into a bunch of the houses. You can talk to a lot of people. And I'll be doing that. I'm not going to try to rush through this game. At the same time, I don't want to bore you to death by grinding, so I'll probably be doing some grinding just off when I'm not recording. Fighting our very first Pokemon is a Centret. A raccoon or flying squirrel type thing. The gameplay is pretty straightforward, although it has a very, very deep system. But the good thing is, yo, how are your Pokemon? The good thing is, if you're not, Pokemon can be played by both casual players and, competitive players alike. Their mechanics are accessible to anyone, and the sort of more deeply rooted mechanics, you don't need to be a master of them to beat the campaign, adventure. So our Chikorita, our Chikorita is level 5. Oh, critical hit. Oh, and our starter Pokemon is already holding a berry. Berries, if our Pokemon is holding them, will be eaten automatically when a certain amount of damage has been received. What are you doing here? I have to take a break, so I saved to record my progress. So yeah, you can save pretty much any time you're in the overworld map. You can't save when you're in a battle. And I'm not going to use freeze states because that'll mess with the internal clock. Pidgey. Normally, a flying type Pokemon would cause us lots of damage since we're a grass type. And flying is super effective against grass, but Pidgey doesn't know any flying type moves just yet, which is fortunate for us. That's a big thing, is type advantages and type weaknesses in this game. It's pretty straightforward. It's stuff like grass is weak to fire, fire is weak to water, water is weak to grass. This is a berry tree. Berries grow back each day, so you can get one a day from each tree. You store the berries in your backpack. I'm going to give that berry to Alex. Oops, our backpack has multiple pouches, which is good for us. You're a rookie trainer, aren't you? I can tell. I'm no rookie, but he does give you a neat little app for your Pokegear if you follow him around. He's just given us the rundown of how towns work. So there's Pokemon Centers, where they can heal your Pokemon free of charge. Pokemarts, where you can buy things such as potions and Pokeballs. That's Route 30, which is kind of the wilderness. The sea. And here's his house. Thanks for your company. Well, now we can use the map on our Pokegear. So let me just show you the Pokegear real quick. I wish you luck on your journey. So that's the map. We are in the region called Johto. Johto neighbors Kanto, which is where the original Pokemon games take place. So there's New Barktown, and we are currently in Cherry Grove City. Our next destination will be just east of Violet City. So let's stop by the Pokemon Center real quick. Talk to Nurse Joy. That's what she's called in the anime. I don't know if it's the same in the video game. In the Pokemon Centers, you can use the PC, which will let you store Pokemon as digital data. You can also store your items as digital data. Pokemon World is somewhat high-tech. Caterpie. Caterpie is a caterpillar Pokemon. He is, well, she will eventually evolve into a Butterfree. So, after each battle we gain a certain amount of experience, depending on the Pokemon and what evolutionary stage they are and what level they were. Let's get this berry. And most Pokemon, once they reach a certain level, will evolve. This guy will give us a free berry. Most Pokemon will evolve at a certain level, which boosts their stats by quite a lot. However, they learn techniques at a somewhat slower pace once they've evolved. So there's sometimes benefits to keeping your Pokemon in its initial stage. You can halt evolutions as they're happening, or you can equip an item that will prevent evolution, which is called the Everstone, I believe. I am by no means an expert on Pokemon, by the way. I should just tell you that right now. I'm not, gonna EV train my Pokemon. I'm not gonna whatever. So, I'm sorry if my skill level disappoints you. I'm not gonna, build my team for a competitive environment. String Shot slows you down, but I'm not that slow yet. Alright, level 7. Pretty soon, Alex should learn a new technique. Metapod. Okay, Metapod is Caterpie's second stage, and we're going to take the time to get him, or battle him, because being a second stage Pokemon, he will give us, or she will give us more experience. Unfortunately, Metapods can, at this stage, can take a little bit longer to beat because their only move is Harden, which is they can't attack us, but they do keep raising their defense. So, our attacks will do less and less damage, pretty much. I'm thinking I'm going to do 20-minute segments because that's what I've always been. That's what I was doing for my Metroid playlists. If you watched those, but maybe 25 minutes. 25 minutes seems better because Pokemon isn't so. It's not always as straightforward as you might expect. You often have to stop between places. Okay, he's maxed out his defense, so good, we got him. 41 experience, see that's raised us up quite a bit. We currently don't have the means to capture any Pokemon, but we will pretty soon. Got a Poison Cure Berry, which if we equip it to a Pokemon and that Pokemon gets poisoned, it will cure the poison. Hello, you must be Adrian. This is Mr. Pokemon's house, and Over there is Professor Oak. The mystery egg. That's the big discovery. So apparently in this game, people don't know how Pokemon reproduce, which is strange. In the millions of years of mankind and Pokemon coexisting, no one's ever bothered to figure out how they reproduce. Oh, sorry if I'm kind of blowing through the text. I'll slow down a bit. The Pokédex. The Pokédex is an encyclopedia which records any Pokemon you encounter or capture. You get much more detailed entries in your Pokédex if you capture them. And now Mr. Pokemon's gonna heal our Pokemon for us. And right now we're getting a phone call from Professor Elm, who seems very distraught. He wants us to return to his laboratory right away. So why don't we do that? Let's level up our Chikorita one more time, because it's going to be getting into our first trainer battle in just a few minutes, just a couple minutes. You've been chosen, Caterpie. Eventually the battles will be a bit more interesting, because we'll get some cooler attacks. Right now we are stuck using Tackle. Alex learned Razor Leaf. Yeah, that's our very first grass type attack. So let's quickly use the Pokemon Center one more time. Actually, we don't need to. But as we try to leave Cherry Grove, it's that punk from before. You got a Pokemon at the lab. What a waste to look like you. So now we must do battle with him and his long red hair. And he got that Cyndaquil. Tackle. We're 3 levels above him and we have a berry equipped, so we should be fine. He doesn't know any fire moves yet, so we don't have to worry about him burning us. But this guy is going to eventually be our rival, which basically is the term used to describe our kind of foil adversary in all the Pokemon games. My name is question mark, question mark, question mark. So he's off to parts unknown. Getting back to the laboratory is not super difficult, especially you can jump off these ledges, but you can't climb up them. So, let's go see what all the fuss is about. There's a policeman. Pokemon has been stolen. Young man with long red hair. What? You battled a trainer like that. Oh, we get to name our rival. What are we gonna call him? Let's call him... He did tell us his name was question mark, question mark, question mark. His name is gonna be... Oh, let's just give him the official name. Silver. That's his name in the manga, and I think it's supposed to be his name. Normally your character's name would be Gold. Major, this is terrible. Oh yes, what was Mr. Pokemon's big discovery? Professor Elm is blown away by the Pokemon egg. And now, Professor Elm is telling us that Professor Oak has realized greatness in us. That's why he gave us the Pokedex. And he wants us to make our way to the Pokemon League. So to do that, we need to complete the Pokemon Gym Circuit. Gonna battle 8 gym leaders and get their badges, which are like proof of victory. And using the badges, we can get to the Pokemon League, which is where the Elite Four resides. I'm gonna talk to our mom real quick. Tell her that we're off on a grand adventure. And she's going to actually set up a banking system for us. So if we ever beat a Pokemon trainer, we'll get a certain amount of money. Some of that money, like a certain percentage, will go to our mom. And we can... anytime we return to New Barktown, we can withdraw money. I've seen you a couple times. How many Pokemon have you got? I'm going to say no, because I know how to. And I can show you, if you've never seen it, but I'm sure you have. So, oh, what do you know? Rattata. Gonna run into a lot of these guys, probably. Let's try out Razor Leaf. Nice. Great, we're level 9. So let's keep it up. I'm going to get us to Cherry Grove City, I believe, and then once I've done that, I'll probably save and quit. Or sorry if I was in the middle of saying something, I got interrupted. Oh, anyways, I'm going to get us to Cherry Grove. And actually, since I can save at any time, I may just stop once I get to 25 minutes. So, yeah, take that. Head north. The first gym is in Violet City, which is to the north of us. Okay, we're going to run into some Pokemon trainers, so actually this will be a good time to save. And, yeah, I hope to see you all again with the next video. There's going to be plenty of these videos to watch, so stay tuned for more. Bye-bye.